We are recording.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. So happy to have you back with us. I'm Shannon.
And I'm Shae.
And welcome to our channel. We are really excited to talk to you today. We have been exploring the idea of personal power this week, which really coincides with some things going on in the sky. Pluto is about to station retrograde tomorrow in a matter of hours. Pluto being a planet that represents power and personal transformation. And the energy has been real crazy. I don't know about you, Shae, but I've been having some crazy dreams, just been lucid dreaming like nuts. And the idea of just, how do we own our power? What's it like when we give it away? How do we do that? How can we keep it? And one of the things that really inspired our talk this week was this YouTube video I watched from Master Sri Akarshana. And it really talks about this. He does such a beautiful job talking about it. And so I just really wanted to explore the idea of personal power this week. What do you say, Shae?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to just begin with this story that Master Sri Akarshana talks about in his little video. And I'm going to read this right from the Yoga Sutras. It is book 2, Sutra 43. And it says, once a man wanted to anger a saint. He began insulting him. You dirty rogue. See how many people you have ruined with your teachings? The saint remained quiet, smiling at his tormentor. Don't you understand my language? The man asked. Yeah, sure. You mean you understood my insults? The man was incredulous. I did. Then how can you keep quiet? The saint answered, son, suppose you brought me some fruit and I refused it. What would you do? I would have to take it back. Yes, continued the saint. In the same way, I don't enjoy all these things you have brought me, so you can just take them back. Handling things this way takes real strength and courage. And so I just think it's a beautiful metaphor of how we can really reclaim our own power, and we don't have to accept, the pain or whatever it is that somebody else is giving us. We don't have to accept that. We can reclaim our own power at any moment and choose love and peace, which is so much easier said than done. But it's a practice. All you have to do is practice. And just talking about all the planets and what's going on in the sky this week, situations have definitely manifested for me this week where I was put into places that I was surprised by my own reactions to things. I chose frustration and I chose anger really in these situations. And I really think it's because I needed to see that those things are still residing within me. I haven't chosen those things as reactions in such a long time. And so I think it was a real reminder to me that I am just human too, and that I am still on this path. I still need to practice the things that I preach. So it was a real big eye-opening week for me just there. But yeah, I love that reading so much. I think that it really demonstrates an important piece that we really do have the control to choose how any situation plays out.
Yeah, most definitely. And I was thinking, as you were talking, I was thinking about basically our shadow side, our darker side, and how a lot of us are really uncomfortable with that darker side of ourselves. We're not familiar with it. We shove it down. We don't like those more negative feelings, so we don't like to acknowledge them. And so what ends up happening is your subconscious ends up sort of taking over, and it's almost as if you're not driving the bus anymore. Your subconscious is.
You go into autopilot, right?
You go into autopilot, and your subconscious acts out these need-based behaviors, essentially, because you haven't acknowledged that, all of the joy and love that you have, Shae, there's a balance in the universe. So you also have like anger, and you also can have a negative, you're human, you have those emotions. The idea isn't to not have the emotion, it's to process it through. And even if you have the emotion, your actual reaction is still your choice. You could feel angry at a situation and not lash out. You could feel angry and let it pass on through. And just like Buddha said, I don't accept the negative energy given to me. I think that a lot of times why people react to the insults, the rejections, is because of a lack of self-worth, because what it ends up feeling like is a confirmation of what I already felt about myself. Do you
Mm,
know what I'm saying? So like, someone calls you ugly or something random like that. And if you already felt ugly, then you're like, yeah, see, I am ugly or whatever.
right.
But so much of that is just a projection from the person
Yeah.
commenting their own, their own things they don't like about their self is pretty much what it is. But all of that kind of helps undermine ourselves. We undermine ourselves. And the whole thing is, once we get into that habit of allowing others to dictate how we feel about ourselves, then we've lost control of our power completely at that point. We're giving it to them. I
Ah,
mean, and that's, we do it over and over. If somebody, it's that whole idea of you get 1,000 compliments and the one insult, and all you can think about is that insult. And so why do we do that? Don't do that. Think about the 1,000 compliments, and not everyone's going to like you, and that's okay. It doesn't feel good, no. But at the same time, there's a lot of people on the planet, and, you're just not going to vibrate with everybody. And that's all right. There's people who vibrate your frequency for you to find. Be with those people. Be with the people that, want to put their energy into you, that care about you, that like you. Don't spend your time and energy trying to get someone to like you or pay attention to you. If they're not, they're not. And that's just what it is.
right.
Just what it is.
And that's what Master says in the video too, is beware of those people who do bring your vibration down. It's the people who are making you second guess your own power, who don't be around them. Don't choose that.
Right. Or if it's somebody you have to be, then you still can choose not to accept that. And you can just still have that, go back to that self-love that you have for yourself that you have to work on, which part of it is accepting the shadow self
Mm.
and really allowing for those negative feelings, those darker feelings that don't feel like joy.
Right.
um, just be what they are and let them pass on through. And they're telling you something, is the whole thing.
You
And
said
that's
to
how
me
we
that,
experience our human existence. They're telling you something. That's how we live, is by, what do we feel about things? So
right?
when we get a feeling, there's something going on. So you are not getting angry for no reason. You're not getting frustrated for no reason. There was a situation happening that was potentially, that was creating a potential for frustration. It's just, how do you act out the frustration, or do you breathe and
And
notice how you don't have any problems?
right. It's
You
just being
how there is
willing to
no
listen.
problem. It's like
Mhm.
when you get frustrated in traffic. Why? What, you're gonna be 30 seconds later to your driving into your driveway? You actually don't have a problem. You have a car. Good for you.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Something that popped up in my head was this story of when Peyton's my partner, when we first moved in together. I remember calling you and being like, he is so messy. Like he is so messy, and I clean, and then he does something that really annoys me, whatever it was, putting something dirty somewhere. And you're like, oh, that sounds like a you problem. Like he just doesn't care. Like, why are you going to be upset at him? That's great for him. He doesn't care that there's dirty clothes on the floor. It's you, it's me. It was me laying awake like, oh my god, there's dirty clothes on the floor. But really, it circles back to one of my gifts is that I can create beautiful space. And so instead of, I let so many times him, it wasn't him making me angry, it was me
Like,
making me
was you-
angry. And it just seems so silly now. And I even, there are still times that happens where I point the blame at him, right? It's him that's making me mad because he put his clothes on the floor. Well, what the heck? If one of my gifts in this life is to help people create beautiful space, then let my joy just overflow. Let me pick up his clothes. You're
yeah.
welcome. And it brought me joy too. Instead of letting something that actually brings me joy, cleaning, organizing, allowing that to make me angry for what? let me just claim my own power back really quick and spread my joy instead.
Right. And note the 100 things that he does for you. A lot of
Right.
them that he could complain about probably or bring up, but doesn't have to. And that's where, you know, it's like the whole companionship thing. We just, yep, that you notice that that's bothering you. I remember that. And I was like, yeah, he lives there too, Shae.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And I will never forget. It was like, well, that's a you problem. Like everything though, is everything not every situation, every problem in our life is really just an us problem. It's us
Much of it.
calling it a problem. Nothing actually has to
Like,
be a problem. Everything is actually just a situation that's occurring.
yeah, right. Yeah. I really liked also in the video, he's, you know, every time he like pointed, he was like talking about how, you know, we blame, we point the finger. I was like almost picturing like shooting your own power out of your finger. Like
Yeah.
or you're like losing power. Every time you point the finger of blame, you're actually losing power. You're giving that person, for one thing, why give that person the ability to control your day or your thoughts about yourself? When you blame somebody, it's like you're almost looking then, you're looking for something. You're not going to get it.
Oh my gosh. And it just makes me think everything is energy. So Peyton put his clothes on the floor. Now I'm angry that he left his clothes on the floor. Now I'm angry picking up the clothes and putting them in the basket. Now I've just created this ball of anger instead of, let me help Peyton pick up his clothes. Oh, I love it. Thank you, clothes. Thank you, hamper. Thank you, space. I could create a ball of love. Instead, I was creating balls of frustration and anger. And isn't that just what we do in situations is we point our energy, we give our energy in whatever feeling that we're having with that interaction.
Absolutely. And of course, this doesn't preclude a conversation about, hey, you know, can you work with me on the clothes?
Right.
Like maybe stick a basket right there at that spot. Or
We can talk about boundaries. That's another episode. Boundaries are another episode. Open communications, another episode.
For sure. But absolutely. Let's own what's our problem and not try to make it other people's problem.
Yep.
Let's just not. Yeah. I was like, I was telling you earlier, I was going through my purse and I have these like index cards while I randomly write stuff down. And I pulled one out for this episode. And this is what I wrote down. I don't know where I even got this. Okay, actually, there's a backside. I'm gonna read that too. I just noticed. Okay. It's okay if not everyone likes me. This is a little mantra I wrote. It's okay if not everyone likes me. I don't have to earn anyone else's approval. Rejection is unpleasant, but not terrible. Right?
Reread that again. Reread.
Okay. It's okay if not everybody likes me. I don't have to earn anybody's approval. Rejection is unpleasant, but not terrible. Right? I mean, we've all been rejected. Okay. It stings. It doesn't feel great. But like also get your power up, get up and get out your day. Go about your day. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when we allow that to linger, I mean, all that does is like bring us our vibration down. It like brings our energy down. This is where we just really hammer ourselves on the self-worth. They really do. Okay, so here's the back of my card. I just feel like I need to read also. It says, don't stop yourself from living your most authentic life because you're afraid of how others will react. And so, you know, that's the whole idea of I'm so much worried about whether people are going to say or think, or they like me, are they going to laugh at me, are they going to talk about me, that I'm unwilling to express my power. And sometimes this is where we shrink ourselves down because we don't want to cause a controversy / we've been conditioned to be polite, especially women. We've really been conditioned to be polite and pleasant. You should smile more, you know, that whole number. So sometimes we're just not great at confrontation. We're not great at when somebody encroaches on our boundaries and starts to like not all of us, very, very few of us are able to just walk by as the person's insulting us and be like, no, thank you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, please, let's get to that. I want to get to that. Most of us are going to feel a thing. But at the same time, we truly don't have to choose to accept it. We are the creators of our reality. We can decide that we have the power to change our circumstances. We have our ability to choose what we take in and what we don't. We do it every day anyway. That's
Mhm.
what we're doing nonstop all day. So when we're saying, yeah, I'll take your bad thought or your bad energy, it's a choice. It's a choice we're making.
At what point I mean, I know just coming Earth side, we are releasing energy, our own energy out into this realm, right? But at what point do you think that we as humans really start outsourcing our energy the most? What comes up to me was like middle school felt like a thing, that's kind of when you start to be embarrassed and
Okay. I see
you
what you're
know,
saying.
puberty comes in and you're
Oh
getting
yeah,
made
that's
fun
brutal.
of, or people start making cliques, especially
Right.
in the education system that we are in America, is
Yeah.
not really set up to support our adolescents through this time. And so what do you think? What are your thoughts on that? At what points do you think? I know for me personally, that's kind of when I started outsourcing my own power and really allowing how other people felt to make me feel a certain way too.
Okay, I actually think it's age 8. Here's why. We have a 7-year period where our brain's in theta and we're in the intake. That's all we're doing because we're humans. We're trying to like survive and we're on the intake. We're downloading. This is our programming time. We're being literally programmed during this time. Our entire belief systems, what we think about things, what we feel about ourselves, what we recognize about the world, the structure, the nature of reality, everything is set up in that first 7 years. So when you start to have more conscious different brain waves and you start to live more consciously, I mean, think about everybody understands this thought that we don't remember as much from our from that time. Yeah, we probably remember 7, 8. I mean, a lot of us can remember way back and probably remember like 2 or 3 or whatever, but like you're the sponge at the time. I think it's when you're no longer, then you're starting to broadcast where you're on the receive mode. If you think about it, you're like a radio, you're starting to broadcast now where you've just been in the reception. Okay. So it's when you're broadcasting and then you've got all these little humans broadcasting to each other. That's when you start to make the judgments about each other because you'll notice then that's when you really start to notice the contrast between what you've been programmed and what they've been programmed. And you start to see
Oh,
these things
true.
and notice, hey, I don't match up. I don't match up. Oh no, I'm not feeling great. I want to fit in. Where's my tribe? Where's my people? Where's my kids? You know how little kids can walk up to each other and be like, hey, want to be friends? And the other one's like, yeah, let's be friends. And they just go run off and they play or whatever. When does that change? Okay, we're starting to change somewhere around late elementary school,
Yeah.
definitely by then. Now we're really, really in a different place. Do you hear what I'm saying? So it's like it's really then, and we just build upon it from then, and like hopefully we mature out of that. Hopefully we get past a point where we start to have some inner strength, and but not everybody does. So that's just a skill that we have to actually try to build for ourselves if we didn't have it included in our 7-year download. We may have
Right.
had things in that help us out with that. Or we may have things that hinder us during that. And we probably all have both.
Yeah, that's so true. That is very interesting. Now I'm just thinking about me at 8 years old. And yeah,
Right.
that makes a lot of sense. And I'm just thinking too, it's like with social media now, so much of people's identity lies within their social media. So that is just a place that a lot of our power gets sucked into.
Right.
And how is that changing how we outsource our power? I mean, you're just being friends and having followers and following people who live all over the world. That right there is just spreading your broadcast so much wider than what we could have even imagined. So, like I grew up with the internet, you didn't. So how do you think
Right.
the internet is changing our outsourcing of power?
It's nuts because it's hard to, it's like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Everybody, like you've been in places with no internet and cell phone service, like you get
Yeah.
it, but like, at the same time, it's hard to picture what it was like without it because we have so much technology now. But people didn't leave their town.
Oh,
Their
I
whole
just
people didn't leave 100 miles from where they grew up. Like it's just they were exposed to so much less information. Just
right.
the amount of information your 3-year-old, regular 3-year-old picks up on a daily versus, somebody from 1700s probably didn't get that much information their whole life. They just, you know what I'm saying? They didn't have that much they were dealing
Yeah.
with, like surviving and like living and stuff in there. And so like, it's nuts how this has, I think it's changed because we're exposed to so much more to compare ourselves to.
Right.
So much more comparison, so many more images, so many more archetypes, so many ideas about what is right and wrong. So many just different opinions. Wow. Where we probably weren't exposed to that much in prior, prior existences, prior time periods, prior to other timelines or whatever. But right now we're crazy interconnected.
Which
Sometimes I think about how, how we're all actually telepathic and we actually can communicate instantaneously with each other. Thought is faster than the speed of light. And they've done some actual science on this. It's so cool. And sometimes I think about how things like cell phones are literally just our humans limiting beliefs. Like this is
how
we're
our
just allowing ourselves, we are making ourselves have a tool to be able to talk to each other because our limiting beliefs say we need it when we actually we don't need it. But we're not quite there. We haven't quite ascended up to fifth, 5D yet.
right. I mean, but on the flip side of things, the internet is great. It's a beautiful tool that we do use, and we are able to receive a lot from it, as well as we can outsource, but we can also receive a lot. So there you go. There's the flip side to this whole thing because it's beautiful to receive, and it's beautiful to outsource your energy when it's going to an appropriate place.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, I mean, I used to spend hours in the library looking at books where now I mean, look how fast you can pull up any information available on earth. Essentially, you can find it. So this just exposes us to that much more. So yeah. So, I mean, I think all of our conversation and all the things that made this video made me think just taking it back just reminds me about self-love. That's it.
I
Just
was
love
just
yourself.
thinking about that.
Just be yourself. Just be okay with those parts of yourself that are just, you're still working out your soul.
Yeah.
You're here to do something. You're here to get this it worked out. You didn't show up perfect. If you were perfect, you would not be here. You came down here with this group of people who are not random. We're all just a big connected family anyway, but we picked some specific people we wanted to work these scenarios out with. So we put ourselves in situations to test our power, to see are we gonna be able to step up and actually own our power? Are we gonna give it away? And we do this to ourselves over and over until we learn the lesson of how to do it. And that's we're hard on ourselves, really hard on ourselves. And we're stubborn. And sometimes we make ourselves learn lessons over and over and over. And this is part of why we really just want to be more self-aware and give yourself so much, more honest self-talk.
Right.
And just like Master was talking about, don't take the blame, but be accountable and be responsible about your actions and your things you say and do. That's something we should do 100%. But own what's yours. We said that in our last video, let go of what isn't.
Yes, absolutely. And I was thinking, how is a way that we can reclaim our power? And it is this radical self-love. Self-care, self-love isn't a selfish thing. It's something that can really connect you to your own source of power. And so I know that a lot of people don't feel like they have time for self-love or self-care, and it can be the simplest of things, but it's really just tapping back into yourself and filling up your own cup.
Yeah.
Before, I mean, you can only overflow and give to others when you fill yourself up. So just
Yeah.
tapping in with yourself and seeing where your power lies and just doing check-ins throughout the day. How does my battery feel? Am I fully charged? Am I halfway there? Am I only a fourth way there? And what are some ways that I can really call my power back to me? One beautiful thing that you can do is just imagine these energetic cords from you and the other people and just snip those off and just reclaim your power back to yourself. There's especially people who work in large corporations or businesses or deal with a lot of people every day. You can give yourself away in just tiny little ways that you might not be aware of. And so really just at the end of your day, or when you get back home, or when you're at the workplace, anytime, you can just take a moment to yourself and just mentally repeat, I reclaim all the power that I've outsourced today. It can be that simple.
Absolutely. That's so good. And just, just the affirmations, just the self-talk, just do things that make you feel good,
Hmm.
do things that you love, that give you joy, that make you feel passion. Do those things.
Right. And just ask
Who
yourself.
cares what people think about it? Who cares? Like, you have that thing that you like to do, you thing that gives you joy. I mean, if you're not harming others, go for it then. That's the idea of just becoming your authentic self. You came here to be that thing. It's no coincidence, that you want to be whatever it is that you really want to be. So this is the ultimate way we reclaim our power, is just to be us and just accept that the universe created us the way we are, and our beautiful, unusual, and unique frequency is needed and appreciated and loved and wanted.
Right. And it's those things that bring you joy that you can then use as a funnel for your own power. It's like yoga brings me such joy. And so I can
Oh,
pour the power into that, and it just radiates a million to the other people so that they're able to receive it. So those things that bring you joy, just pay attention to those things. And yeah, that'll raise your power within itself.
yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I actually really love is to make jewelry and collect crystals, as you know. So actually what I'm sporting right now is some citrine and tiger eye jewelry that I made. This is citrine. Citrine is often referred to as the merchant stone. It's yellow. It actually goes right to your solar plexus chakra. And this is also where the tiger eye does. The citrine, of course, draws wealth and abundance. The tiger eye, it enhances your personal power. This is our energy center in our solar plexus here. So it just helps draw that energy in. It just helps boost that energy. And I really love tiger eye. It's one of the things, again, it just gives me joy. I understand that not everybody's into crystals, but they vibrate at a certain frequency that just makes my heart feel good. And it doesn't matter to me if some days I wear 10 bracelets, because like,
I'm sporting a necklace that you made out of tiger's eye at the moment too.
beautiful. Oh, I love that one with the square. Yes,
Yes.
I know. Sometimes I wear the jewelry for a while before I give it to you.
Even better, charge it up.
Exactly. I always do try to charge it up. So, hey, that's another way. Get out in the sun, because you know what? The sun
Oh,
and
yes.
nature and other thing that, is huge.
Yeah.
Like, go outside. That's our main energy source on earth, is the sun. Go sit under the sun, drink all that up. Like, be outside, have the wind on you, just like breathe, listen to the birds,
I
do
was
all that.
I was thinking, I was sitting outside the other day and I was just thinking about how nature is one of the best, I mean, not one of, is the best space holder on this earth. These things are still, the grass, the trees, the birds, the stones, the whole, I mean, just sitting sitting there in a forest full of trees, it is so easy to release into that. It is just welcoming you to release and to reclaim your own power. It's so beautiful. Nature is where it's at. I love you, nature. I love you, Mother Nature.
Absolutely. Especially when you can ground yourself to the earth, go out there barefoot, sit in the grass.
Please go barefoot. Yes.
Absolutely. Just connect yourself. You're made of earth. You're actually literally made of earth. Every single one of us is made of the same molecules as earth, every single thing on earth. So,
and by the time this podcast comes out, there'll be a new moon, right? Is today new moon?
It's actually like, it really is new moon. I think 4:46 p.m. Eastern, I want to say I saw. I was looking. So the new moon, it's the partial solar eclipse in Taurus, and the sign of Taurus is right now coming up on us. So the new moon always suggests a new beginning, always suggests a new start to something. This is happening in the sign of Taurus. This is an earth sign. This is structure, some earthly thing that we're going to start out here. The eclipse energy is coming in hot though. So anything can happen. And it's conjunct Uranus right now. And Uranus being the planet of sudden, surprising things. Anything can happen right now. So we've been having we had some weird time warp thing that happened this morning. I don't even know. Like my phone alarms were set a certain way. And when I picked my phone up, they were all the same. For a second, they all said 5:30 and it was weird. I don't even know. It was just weird. And then I don't even know, just weird. And like all the lucid dreaming and stuff. So yeah, they're down in the sky.
I've been having intense dreams as well. And I was telling you how I've been breaking things. There's been 3 different occasions in the past few days where I've broken something or something's like crashed or something. And I'm like, what is going on there?
Right.
I like to believe that the universe is looking out for me, and instead of manifesting in a way in my life situations, it's just manifesting in, I'm just going to break this teapot, or I'm going to just crash this cart into your car so that something, detrimental to my life doesn't actually happen. So thank you, universe, for looking out for me.
Right. Exactly. It's just the universe's way of helping us to change. If we don't change on our own, because the only thing constant in the universe is change. So if we don't agree to change, universe will change us. So what you do in these moments is you go with the flow. You allow yourself to be changed. You allow the change to happen, and it'll be okay. And that's really what it is. So I think I'm losing the light here right now. It's getting like steadily darker.
You can see my shadow.
You're right. I'm starting to really get in the shadow here. So I think we'll wrap this up. Thank you so much for tuning in, dear watcher/listener. We're really happy to have you. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Leave us a comment. And we will be here next week for you. And we'll see you then.
Yeah, let us know down below how you reclaim your power. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next week.